Hi, it's Mark from the Rockpit in Australia. How are you?
Good, thanks, you.
Love the album Cut Against the Grain, which has been out over here for a couple of weeks now, really. I think it came out on the 13th.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Is it a relief that you finally got the album out after playing some of these songs for a number of years?
Definitely, and I mean, I had the album recorded for like a year anyway, so, you know, you're kind of sitting on it itching to get it out there. You know, especially playing shows and everyone's asking about the album and everything, you know, so it's kind of the next step to get it out at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, some of the songs on there are great. You have been playing for a while, though. How much time did you actually spend choosing the songs you were going to play? Because I know you've got quite an extensive catalogue already.
Yeah, I had like 35 songs ready for the album, probably. So, rather than writing for an album, it was just a case of picking 11 that I thought kind of showed off what I did, but as many colours as well as I could. You know, I tried to get as many different variations as what I did on the album. So that was basically all it was. It was pretty easy. So. Yeah.
Are there any that you wish had made it on there that you are definitely going to be on album number 2?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, looking back, I mean, there's a song called Take Me Home that probably would have worked really well on the album. But, I mean, you know, I'll be making more albums, so it's not really too bad, you know. But.
Yeah. And the recording process was quite quick, was it? Once you decided what you were going to do, I think you did it over in LA.
Yeah, I mean, just under 2 weeks we did it. We had it all finished in something kind of average. And yeah, I mean, we pretty much did it as raw as we could. We tried to leave as many mistakes on there as we could, and you know, keep it as real as we could on the album. You know, so that's pretty much it. Just make a real rock and roll album.
I like that reference to leaving a few mistakes on there. That it's just like all the best albums of the past. They're always got a few mistakes in there. I think our favourite track at the moment.
I mean,
yeah, sorry, go on.
I mean, I've always thought, you know, it's where the personality comes from, the little mistakes and the little bits where something speeds up or something slightly flat or something. Yeah. That's kind of where the personality comes out in the song. So if it sounded right, then we left it in.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think our favourite track on there at the moment, the one that we can't stop playing, is probably Sun's Gonna Shine. Is there a track on there that you really enjoy playing?
Live especially, Sun's Gonna Shine, because it's I mean, that song we jam that right out and we kind of stretch it for as long as we can and play with rhythms and do whatever else. I mean, it's the kind of song that really works well with that. So I mean, that's always a fun one to play live. And, but I mean, I wrote them all and they all mean something to me, you know. So, but I mean, there's a few that stand out. Things like Falling Again and Down and everything were both songs that were kind of turning points in writing to me, and the fact that I was trying different things and going to different places. So, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of different things on there that I love. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great. I'm sort of looking back at the bio and a few other things about you. My dad's actually seen you play live, so he's back over in the UK. So
really?
He's got one over. Got one over on me already. So, but some of your influences, it sounds like you've been going through my record collection. People like, obviously, the Black Crowes. I was thrilled when I read that you were a bit of a fan of the Black Crowes, but also bands like the Choir Boys and the Dogs D'Amour, the Georgia Satellites, all those great 80s bands who, I guess in a sense, were really sort of 70s revivalists in a way anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff my dad kind of played when I was young, and I mean, it was like, I remember like hearing the Faces and then going in and he'd put on a Choir Boys record, you know, just basically, you know, it was basically the revival of that, and they were taking the whole terrible stuff in the 80s and kind of just making it cool again, and so I mean, that's always, and I mean, I remember playing with the Choir Boys as like, I was about 11, so I mean, that was always kind of you know, they've always kind of been really cool to me, and my first gig ever was watching the Black Crowes in London, which was kind of a turning point for me wanting to play live. But I mean, I love everything from like Grateful Dead to Bob Dylan to Black Sabbath and AC/DC and whatever else. So I mean, it's a pretty big spectrum of stuff I listen to.
Yeah, I mean, and you can tell from the album. I mean, it's got that great, obviously, blues background to it, but like you can always tell, you young guys are never afraid to experiment, and you can see a lot of the sort of, I guess, more contemporary influences coming in there as well. So it's a wonderful mix.
Yeah.
So what's the next steps for yourself now? You've got the album out. You've had a little bit of feedback. Presumably, that's all going pretty good. What are the next few steps for Aaron Keylock?
Well, I mean, we've got a couple of festivals coming up. Some good ones. We got one in London in summer with Susie Top, and we've got some other different ones all around the UK. And then I've got a couple of headline shows coming up in the UK. And then after that, we hope to just be going out and playing all that as well everywhere we can. Just play as many shows as we can wherever we can. So that's pretty much the goal, really, just to be able to go out there and play as much as we can again, which I'm kind of itching to do. So, I mean, that's kind of the next thing, and it kind of seems like the right thing to do next. So, yeah.
Are you feeling the pressure? I mean, you're getting some pretty big accolades over there. Hailed as the new blues rock sensation, who's going to save UK blues rock. Do you feel the pressure?
Not at all. I mean, I don't, because I don't think about it. It's like people call you a lot of things that they want to call you, and it's just, it's nice, and you appreciate when people pay someone like Roy Gallagher, or they call you things like that. But at the end of the day, it's no different than when I was 13 and just going out there and making music and being on a stage and doing what I want to do. And I guess it's a selfish thing, because from 13, I was just doing it because I enjoyed playing guitar, and it's still the same now. I enjoy writing my songs and getting up and playing them to people who want to hear it. So, and that's kind of my only thought with it, and everything else that goes along with it is, it's nice that people see what you're doing and like what you do as well. So, I mean, that's kind of just something that goes with it. But I don't really think you can think too much about what people call you, or read too many reviews or whatever else, because I mean, you can kind of just become a bit too mad with it and start changing yourself around a bit too much. That's kind of when things go wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I think so as well. Just ignore all the media. That's the best thing to do. There's a lot of rock in the UK at the minute, and a lot of rock in Europe. There seems to be a real sort of revival, whereas I guess in places like the States and down here, we're going through a bit of a downturn. Why do you think there's so much of a rekindling of interest in rock music at the moment? Is it because all the young guys like you are actually getting back into that sort of great music?
I think that's one part of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because you see a lot of cool bands coming out now and everything, and I'm a fan of a lot of young bands coming out with it. And, I don't know why it is. I think it's easier to find the music now, and I think it's easier to find where it comes from and do your history. I mean, it's easier to find a Muddy Waters record now than it ever was. There's things like Spotify and YouTube, but maybe that's it. So you can access it now and find the records that they know. But I mean, I think it's a real music, and I think that rock and roll is music that's always going to be there and always going to speak to people. And it's kind of, it's honest, and I think that's what, it's always going to be around for that reason. But a lot of bands seem to be doing that at the minute. But it's the kind of music that's been going in and out of fashion for years. But it's always been around, even when it's not in fashion, it's been in every bar, played underground. So, I don't really think, it'll come out of fashion, go in fashion again. But, I've always just been a fan of it. So.
Yeah, well, exactly the same here. What do you love most? Sitting around, creating a song, playing in the studio, or is it all about being on that live stage?
I mean, they're all different, types of expressing yourself and creativity. I mean, writing a song is a great way to be able to get across what you want to say and a great way to express yourself, and I love doing that. And then to go into the studio and to be able to record the song how you heard it, and to be able options of adding things on and different instruments and everything. That's kind of a great way as a songwriter to be able to get across how you want to get it across. But I think the world I come from, the type of music you play, is kind of all about getting on a stage and just letting loose and, just having fun. And that's kind of what I do and my band do. And we just get up there and have a laugh and just do what the music makes us do, and not try and think, we don't have any choreographed dance moves, we just have a laugh. That's basically what I think it's about, is just getting up and not really thinking about what you're doing, and just letting the music take you where it takes you. So
it's a great attitude to have. You've already shared the stage with some great artists. Who have you learnt most from so far?
There's been a few. Even from early on, I was playing blues jams with different people, and the guy there, Sam Hare, he kind of gave me the best piece of advice for a young kid starting out, and that was just to stay honest to who I am and try and find my sound, and not to go to the blues jam and try and be Steve Ray Vaughan. And that's kind of stayed with me for a long time, as long as I've been doing it. And there's that, and then, Joe Bonamassa kind of gets me the advice of, I've been playing shows for a while and taking every gig I could, and, he kind of gave me the advice, look for the next steps and look for the next thing and try and find management, and otherwise you burn yourself out. So, that was important. I did that at that time as well. But, as for playing-wise, and touring-wise, I think Black as Smoke has kind of been, I've done a couple of tours with them now, and they've become really good friends of ours, as well as, I was a big fan of theirs before we started touring. So, I think when you love and respect the band, and then you get to play with them, it kind of means that much more, and you kind of take that much more away, and you're always, I was watching side stage, or even in the crowd watching them every night. So, I think for that, I've taken a lot of away from Black as Smoke.
Yeah. Oh, they're a great band, and who would have thought it, 5-10 years ago, that the UK would be rocking out to the likes of those guys and Blackstone Cherry. We just got to get you down now, because we've had both of those guys down here recently, so we better get you down next, I think. Just a couple of quick questions, because I know we're nearly at the end of the allotted time. How would you sum up your life in rock and roll so far? It's normally I ask old people this question, but I thought it might be interesting to ask you.
I don't know. It's been pretty good. It's been everything I've wanted to do, and I think for the fact of me just doing it the way I want to do it and being real, I think that's because of it. But I've been lucky enough to have a label in Mascot that is very artist orientated. They didn't come to the studio like a lot of labels. They didn't even know what I was recording until I recorded it. So when it was done, I gave it to them, and that's pretty much it. So I think I'm lucky in that sense that I'm allowed. They give you that freedom to be who you want to be, and that's basically it. I've always done what I've wanted to do, and I've always done what felt right at the time. And even if I found out later on it was the wrong decision, I can always look back and say, well, I've always done what I thought was right at the time. So, that's just basically been my outlook on it, and I think I'm just lucky to be able to play music I want to play and go out there and play shows with, some great musicians behind me. So.
Yeah, no, you're making some great music, and it's if your first album's anything to go by, we've got a lot of years of great music ahead of us. Just to see where it all came from you, if you could have been a fly on the wall for the creation of any great album, just to see how the magic happened, what's the one that you'd like to have been there in the studio listening to?
That's a hard one. There's a lot of great albums I'd like to have been on. I think just because of what it was kind of the first album I got addicted to, it'd have probably just been, I'll say Sticky Fingers or Rolling Stones, because that's the kind of first album I really got hooked on as a kid.
Yeah, there's a bit of the Stones in your stuff as well. It shows that you've got an appreciation of those guys. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, Aaron. Thank you so much. Good luck with the new album.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll get to see you down under, or I'll get back to the UK sometime soon and I'll catch you there. Take care, mate.
Definitely. Thank you.
Have a good one, and thank you.